In the silent forests of Vermont, three mysteries continue to confuse everyone who dares to explore them. The hidden cave of the winds, where the earth seems to breathe with strange sounds. The scattered stone piles of Eagle Mountain, placed with purpose, but by unknown hands. And the deep, echoing darkness of Aeolus Cave, where cold air moves like something alive. These are not just places, they are questions. Who built the stone cairns? Why do these caves feel different from any other? And what secrets are still hidden beneath the ground? Some say these are natural, others believe something ancient is still waiting to be understood. In this video, we step into these forgotten locations, not just to explore them, but to feel them. Because sometimes, the real mystery is not what we see, it's what we don't. Eagle Mountain Stone Cairns. High up in the quiet, forested slopes of Eagle Mountain, there is something strange scattered across the land. Not one structure, not two, but hundreds of them. Small piles of carefully stacked stones, sitting silently among the trees. At first, you might think they're natural, just rocks that fell and landed that way over time. But when you look closer, you realize something is off. These are not random, these are stone cairns. Now, cairns are not unusual by themselves. Around the world, people have stacked stones for many reasons. Some mark trails, some mark graves, some are used in rituals. But what makes the Eagle Mountain Cairns different is their number and their placement. They are everywhere, spread across the forest floor, hidden between trees, resting on slopes, even placed in areas that are not easy to reach. And most importantly, they don't seem to follow a simple pattern like trail markers would. That's where the mystery begins. Who built them? And why are there so many? Some people believe these cairns were made by Native Americans, possibly the Abenaki. In many cultures, stacking stones had spiritual meaning. It could mark sacred paths, burial areas, or places of importance connected to nature. If that's true, then Eagle Mountain might have once been a very important site, maybe even a spiritual landscape, not just a random forest. But again, there's no clear proof. No carvings, no symbols, no direct link connecting these cairns to a specific tribe or purpose. Others suggest a more practical explanation. Early settlers might have stacked these stones while clearing land for farming. When people prepared land, they often moved rocks out of the soil and piled them together. Over time, those piles remained. But this explanation also has problems, because many of these cairns are found in places where farming would have been very difficult. Rocky slopes, dense forest areas, locations far from old settlements. Why would farmers go that far just to clear land? It doesn't fully make sense. And then, there's a third idea, one that makes things even more interesting. Some researchers believe these cairns could be part of a larger system, not random piles, but connected in a way we don't yet understand. Maybe they mark routes. Maybe they align with natural features like water sources or high points. Maybe they were used for navigation long before modern maps. When people started mapping some of these cairns, they noticed something strange. Certain groups of cairns seem to form loose lines. Not perfect, not exact, but close enough to raise questions. Could they be pointing somewhere? Or is it just coincidence? Now imagine walking through Eagle Mountain. The forest is quiet. You hear only birds, leaves, and your own footsteps. Then suddenly, you see a small stack of stones, neatly placed, balanced, almost like someone built it yesterday. You keep walking, and then you see another one, and another. Soon, it feels like you're being watched, not by something alive, but by something left behind. Like signs placed by someone who wanted to be remembered, but didn't leave any explanation. Some visitors say the experience is peaceful. Others feel uneasy, not scared, but confused, because the human mind wants patterns, wants answers. And here, there are none. Over the years, people have tried to study these cairns, but there's a big challenge. They are too many, too spread out, and too easy to disturb. That last part is important, because today, anyone walking through the area can accidentally or intentionally move stones, build new cairns, knock old ones down. And once that happens, it becomes almost impossible to tell which ones are original. That means the mystery can slowly get worse. The more people interact with the site, the harder it becomes to understand its true history. Now let's talk about the present situation. Right now, the Eagle Mountain Stone Cairns still exist, but they're not fully protected. The forest is open, and there is no strict control over who enters or what they do. That has both positive and negative sides. On the positive side, the area remains natural. It hasn't been turned into a commercial tourist spot. There are no heavy constructions, no crowds, no artificial changes. The environment still feels real and untouched. But the negatives are serious. Without protection, the cairns are at risk. Weather can slowly break them down. Rain, wind, and time can shift stones, and human activity makes it worse. Even simple curiosity, like someone adding a stone to a pile, can change the original structure. Another issue is the lack of proper research. Because the site is not officially recognized as something important, it doesn't get enough attention from experts. That means many questions remain unanswered, and valuable information could be lost forever. And here's something else to think about. What if we are already too late? What if some of the original cairns have already been changed so much that we can't tell their true purpose anymore? Now, my personal opinion, I don't think these cairns are random. There's too much intention in how they are built. The balance, the placement, the repetition, it all suggests that someone created them with a purpose. But I also don't think it's something simple like farming. The locations don't support that idea. To me, it feels like this was once part of something larger. Maybe a cultural system, maybe a spiritual path, maybe even a way of marking territory or guiding movement through the land. But without clear evidence, we are left guessing. And maybe that's what makes it so powerful, because these stones don't tell us their story. They just sit there, silent, waiting. And every time someone walks past them, the mystery continues. Even today, if you visit Eagle Mountain, the cairns are still there. Some standing strong, some already falling apart, some possibly changed by time or people. The forest remains calm, but the questions remain loud. And that's the present situation. A place full of clues, slowly fading, and mystery still alive, but slowly slipping away. Aeolus Cave. There is a place in Vermont where the earth doesn't stay quiet. A place where the ground seems to breathe, where the air moves in a way that feels almost alive. Deep in the forest, hidden away from busy roads and normal life, lies a dark opening known as Aeolus Cave. At first, it looks like just another cave entrance. Rough rocks, a dark hole in the hillside, cold air drifting out. But the moment you get close, something feels different. You can hear it, a steady sound of wind moving from inside the cave. Not a strong gust, not a storm-like noise, but a constant flow, like the cave is inhaling and exhaling. That sounds open. The cave is inhaling and exhaling, like it has its own rhythm. That's how it got its name. Aeolus, the keeper of winds. And once you step inside, that feeling only grows stronger. The cave is not simple. It's not one open space where you can see everything. It goes deep, branching into narrow passages, tight corners, and dark chambers. Some areas are easy to walk through. Others force you to crawl. The deeper you go, the colder it gets. The air feels heavier in some places, lighter in others. And the wind never really stops. It moves through the cave in ways that are hard to predict. Sometimes it's calm. Sometimes it suddenly picks up, rushing past you through narrow gaps in the rock. It can feel like something is moving around you, even when nothing is there. Now, from a scientific point of view, this can be explained. Caves often have multiple openings. Air moves between them due to pressure differences. Warm air, cold air, they shift, they flow. They create these natural wind systems. But even when you know that, standing inside Aeolus Cave doesn't feel normal. There's a sense of depth that's hard to explain, a feeling that the cave goes much farther than you can see. Some passages seem to drop deeper into darkness, others curve away into tight spaces where light disappears quickly. And here's the thing. Aeolus Cave is one of the deeper cave systems in this region, but it hasn't been fully explored in every direction. There are mapped sections, yes, but there are also areas that remain difficult to reach, tight, unstable, or simply too risky to explore further. That leaves room for questions. Could there be more inside? Hidden chambers, unknown paths? Maybe. And that's where the mystery starts to grow. Some local stories suggest that the cave was known long before modern explorers found it, that ancient people might have used it not just for shelter, but for something more. Maybe rituals. Maybe as a place connected to nature and the unseen. There are no confirmed artifacts that clearly prove this, but the idea continues to exist, cast down quietly through stories. And when you stand inside the cave, listening to that constant wind, it's easy to understand why people would feel that way. It doesn't feel like a normal place. Some explorers who have gone deep inside have reported strange experiences. Not traumatic, not supernatural in a clear way, just unusual. A sudden drop in temperature that feels sharper than expected. Sounds echoing in ways that don't match the space. A feeling of being watched, not by something you can see, but by the space itself. Now again, these things can have natural explanations. Sound travels strangely in caves. Airflow can change quickly. Darkness affects the mind. When you're in a place like that, your senses become more sensitive, and your thoughts can play tricks on you. But still, why do so many people describe similar feelings? Why does the cave leave such a strong impression? Another important part of this story is danger. Aeolus Cave is not a safe place for casual visitors. The deeper sections can be risky. Tight spaces, sudden drops, slippery rocks, these are real hazards. And because of that, access to parts of the cave has been restricted at times. There's also another reason for restrictions. The cave is home to bats. Another cave is home to bats. A large population lives inside. These bats are important for the ecosystem, but they are also fragile. In recent years, a disease called white nose syndrome has affected bat populations across North America, including Vermont. Because of this, human activity in caves like Aeolus has been limited to protect the bats. So in a way, the cave is now even more closed off than before, less explored, more protected, and maybe more mysterious. Now, let's talk about the present situation. Today, Aeolus Cave still exists as one of the most interesting natural sites in Vermont. It is known among experienced explorers and researchers, but it is not open like a tourist attraction. On the positive side, this has helped preserve it. The cave remains mostly untouched by heavy human activity. Its natural state is still intact. The bat population, although affected by disease, is being protected as much as possible. Restrictions have helped reduce disturbance, which is important for both the environment and the cave itself. But there are negatives too. Because access is limited, exploration is also limited. That means certain parts of the cave may remain unknown for a long time. Also, natural changes, like rock shifts or small collapses, can happen without anyone noticing. Another issue is that people who try to enter without proper permission or experience can put themselves in danger. And in doing so, they also risk damaging the cave. So the mystery stays, but so do the risks. Now, my opinion. I see Aless Cave as something real, not just in a physical sense, but in how it affects people. It's not about ghosts or hidden creatures. It's about the feeling of being in a place that is older, deeper, and more complex than we usually experience. The wind inside the cave is natural, but the way it feels is something else. And I think that's where the true mystery lies. Not in something hidden at the end of a tunnel, but in the experience itself. A place where nature reminds us how small we are and how much we still don't fully understand. Even today, the cave continues to exist in that quiet state, protected but not fully known, studied but not fully explored, alive with movement but silent in its answers. And that is the present situation. A cave that breathes, a mystery that stays, and a place that continues to whisper without ever speaking. The Cave of the Winds, Vermont. Deep inside the quiet wilderness of Vermont, there are places where the land feels untouched, almost like it has been hiding something for a very long time. Among these hidden spots, one name keeps coming up again and again: the Cave of the Winds. Now, don't imagine a big tourist cave with lights and paths. This is not that kind of place. The Cave of the Winds is more of a local mystery, passed through stories, whispers, and a few strange experiences. Many people don't even know its exact location, and maybe that's part of why it feels so mysterious. The name itself is interesting. Cave of the Winds. People say that when you get close to the area, you can hear a strange sound. Not just normal wind. It's more like a low, constant hum, like air moving through narrow stone passages deep underground. Some describe it as a breathing sound, as if the earth itself is alive. And that's where the story begins. The cave is believed to be part of a hidden network beneath the forests. Not a simple hole in the ground, but a system of tunnels, some natural, some possibly shaped by human hands. A few explorers who claim to have entered parts of it said the inside is tight, dark, and confusing, passages twisting different directions. Some paths suddenly end, others seem to go deeper than expected. But here's the strange part. Not many people have properly mapped it. In fact, there is no clear map at all. For a place that has been talked about for so long, that's unusual. Now, some locals believe the cave was once used by ancient people. Maybe native tribes like the Abenaki. These caves could have been used for shelter, rituals, or even as hidden storage during harsh winters. It makes sense, right? Natural protection, hidden from enemies, safe from weather. But again, there is no solid proof, no clear markings, no confirmed artifacts, just stories and possibilities. And then there's another layer to this mystery. Some people believe the cave holds something more, Old stories talk about strange objects found deep inside, unusual stones, tools that don't match known history, and even hints of carvings that don't look like typical native designs. Nothing has been officially confirmed, but the stories keep spreading. And you know how these things go. The more unclear something is, the more it grows. A few explorers who went searching for the cave reported something else too. They said the air inside feels different, heavier, harder to breathe in some spots, easier in others. Almost like the cave has its own rhythm. Some even claimed they felt dizzy after staying inside for too long. Others said they heard sounds, not just wind, but faint echoes, like distant movement. Now, this could be explained. Caves often have air pressure changes. Wind can create strange sounds when it moves through narrow spaces. Your mind can play tricks on you in total darkness. But still, why does this place leave such a strong impression on people? Why do so many stories sound similar? Another strange thing, people often say they lose their sense of direction inside. Even those with experience in caves feel confused. Paths that seemed straight suddenly curve. Landmarks look the same. It becomes easy to get lost. And that's dangerous. There have been warnings over the years telling people not to explore these areas without proper knowledge. Not just because of the physical risks, but because once you go deep inside, getting out may not be as simple as you think. And that leads to one of the biggest questions. Why hasn't this place been fully explored? In today's world, with all our tools, all our technology, why is there still no complete study of this cave? Some say it's because the entrances are hard to find, hidden by forest, covered over time, or simply forgotten. Others believe it's because the cave is unstable. Parts may collapse. Some passages could be too dangerous to explore safely. And then, there are those who think, maybe it's better left alone. That idea might sound strange, but it comes from a real feeling people get when they talk about this place. A sense that not everything needs to be uncovered. Now, let's talk about the present situation. Today, the Cave of the Winds is still not a major known location. It's not officially developed or protected like other cave systems. That means it stays mostly untouched, which is both good and bad. On the positive side, the cave remains natural. No heavy human activity, no construction, no damage from tourism. The environment around it is still pure, quiet, and real. That helps preserve whatever history or mystery it holds. But the negatives are serious. Because it's not properly studied or protected, it is at risk. Natural erosion, collapses, or even random human interference could damage it without anyone even knowing. Also, without proper mapping, anyone trying to explore it could face real danger. Another issue is the lack of awareness. Since it's not widely known, it doesn't get attention from experts who might be able to study it properly. That means the mystery continues, but so does the risk of losing valuable clues forever. Now here's what I personally think. I don't believe all the extreme stories about hidden treasures or unknown civilizations deep inside. But I also don't think this is just a simple natural cave. There's something more here. Maybe it was used by ancient people in ways we don't fully understand. Maybe it connects to other underground systems. Or maybe the real mystery is not what's inside, but why it has remained hidden for so long. Sometimes, places like this don't give answers easily. They stay quiet, they wait, and they remind us that even now, there are corners of the world that haven't been fully explored. Not because we can't, but maybe because we haven't looked close enough. Or maybe we're not meant to.